episode of Coffee with Ruth and Dick. Yeah. So today, what's our topic?
It's already, we are reaching the end of the year. We would like to summarize up what is our result for the past 1 year.
Actually, a lot of people are asking why, and why is it that the house that we sold don't seems to be easy by other agents, but when we sell it, it seems like a piece of cake like that. Actually, it's not.
Sometimes I should say it's usually the timing when we take over. And in fact, we have closed a number of houses which don't seem easy to sell. We also know, but we managed to get our buyer because our determination, and we believe that the house is able to get a buyer.
Okay, maybe we just share with you what are the 5 interesting houses that we sold during this
1 year.
This 1 year. Then you see whether is it easy to sell or not easy to sell. Okay, is it a house that you will buy in the first place?
We have sold 2 houses opposite facing a school, which is a brand new house. One is situated along District 13, MacPherson area. One is situated at District 15, Videro Street.
These 2 houses buyers are very interesting. Okay, one of them, in fact, he knows that. Okay, let's talk about the one at MacPherson. Okay, the MacPherson house buyer, right? He's got a lot of houses, so he finally saw this house and he fell at first sight because he felt that the school that's opposite him gives him a lot of quiet and privacy.
Yes, because usually, why is it quiet? Because usually the buyer told us that usually I'll be home at the weekend. School weekend don't operate, not like any other houses.
And actually sometimes nowadays, right, even for a school bell, it's no longer those days that's so irritating, that ring throughout the day.
The wise.
It's very enjoyable and it's very soothing. The decibel of the sound is also very soft. So nowadays people, in fact, if you go to school, they feel like, so nowadays it's a bit different already. And during the normal after school period, the house is completely quiet and the road is generally wider also for most houses that's opposite a school.
Yes, correct. Usually it's wider because of our government specification that usually facing the school or road that is near the school, the road is usually wider.
And also the other one that's of course, the one at Fidelio, we also find that the house itself is really at a very attractive price for a gigantic corner terrace. I felt that the house is actually quite nice, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The only thing is facing the school. What's wrong with facing the school? The buyer told us that when they give us the deposit.
So, I mean, well, one person's apple or one person's poison is another person's apple, right?
Yes,
so I think that not everybody likes the thing that you like. Why? Well, I think, okay, let's touch on the other. Maybe we just share with the people over here, like the 3 other houses we are thinking about. One of the houses that leave me a very deep impression, which honestly, it's very interesting. This big bungalow along Changi area. Okay, we sold it during the circuit breaker where we discussed with our buyer over the phone, and we talk about the price, and they sort of like, they fell in love with the house when they saw a video.
It's a huge bungalow, brand new, 6,500. When we put out in the market, there's a lot of comment. But when they ask us or when we tell them that the lease is only left 42 years,
Sienna, a lot of people said, wow, how am I going to spend the money for the next 44 years?
Correct.
Yeah, what should I do it?
So, but eventually we managed to get the house sold. But that's what, not one buyer. There's 2 buyers chasing for the house.
Why?
You still remember the video, the water hose video that I post up? That is a house, land size 6,500, build out is almost 8,000. Beautiful house. Everything is perfect, only the lease. What's wrong with the lease? But of course the buyer bought and stayed there happily. I think the house is already completed.
Yeah, because the buyer wants the space, so he thought that with the price, he actually exchanged with the space, and why not? He can stay with his family and can 6 cars. It's actually a very attractive place to host his guests, and you can feel that you are staying in the bungalow.
4 generations can stay inside the house.
Bungalow at a very attractive price that you can never resist. So that's why he bought it. He has an eyesight.
Correct. Then of course we managed the deal.
And also there's another one that we talk about, right? The one that's actually next to a double-story easy hawker center. I think that house is so interesting.
Yes.
We are invited to the joint marketing after the first 2 group marketed without any results. So the developer called us, said that, would you like to come and join the market with this particular agency? Then we see if we can get the deal, right? So in the end,
we managed to get the buyer, and of course, everybody will say that, wow, you're very good that you get a buyer, but we also face certain obstacles. Most of the buyer complain about the hawker center, about the rats, about the smell, but we managed to convince our owner for the house. They do whatever they can do to maximize the complaint about the smell, about the whatever other obstacle that we face.
I remember this buyer, they actually went to see the house, outside the house, directly outside the house for a few times before they put up a reasonable offer, which even the developer cannot resist, right? So because of the facade and because of the tenure and because of the good, I would say the practicality of the house, the buyer really like it, and they really fell at first sight also. It's just the center, right?
Yes, correct. And I share with you a joke. Before the buyer pays the deposit with us, you know what they do? They call NEA to ask the officer whether is it possible or whether is it right for them to buy a house next to a food court.
So NEA is our corporate agent. Thank you, NEA. So in the end, okay, true enough, the buyer bought it, and then all of us are happy for them also. And right now, they are happily staying over there.
Correct. So how about the last house?
Okay, the last house that we would like to talk about is the one that we sold within 1 day. Okay, this one is interesting also. Okay, I'm not saying that we are very hao-lian or whatever, but sometimes it's the belief that you can sell, and it's the trust that you would like to continue from the seller. That house is actually near to 2
Temple. And of course, sometimes it's also we are breasted. The timing is right for us. We only spend 1 day to sell this house, and the buyer used 1 hour. No 多好啊. He only used 1 hour just to pass us the check, convinced by us.
And furthermore, the price itself, right? We actually hit the seller's expectation more than 100,000.
I think 100.
Yeah, 100,000 above the seller's expectation. And she's very, very happy. She never expect the price that we bought it for her. So yeah, I think it's one of the most speedy, fast house that we sold during this kind of location where people. I'm not saying that we will not take months, but I'm just saying that it's just the right timing.
Correct. But in fact, we have more than 1 buyer.
Oh yes. Maybe you would like to summarize what are the houses. Why is it that right now we are saying that these houses that people used to see so difficult to sell, but why is it that we sold within this expectation time or within the time that's given to us? If we just like to summarize.
Sometimes it's the belief. If you believe in yourself, believe in your owner, and usually most of our owner will ask us, why you sell house like a piece of cake? Come and sell my house. But I will always tell them that house will sell. It's only the right buyer is not born yet.
And most importantly, of course, we would like to say that most importantly, people that the sellers of these houses, they already know the limitations. Of course, they were once the buyer as well. Alright, they were once the buyer of that house as well. If they already know the limitations of whether their house is near to a temple, near to a hawker center, or near to a a school, they already know it. There's no point for us to re-say again to you that your house is all this, right? If it's so easy to sell, you might as well sell yourself. You don't need agents, right?
Correct.
So it's our job to maybe discuss with you what are the price, how are we able to make it more attractive for you to sell your house, right? Maybe you would just like to share, maybe it's like is it because how are we going to, we usually discuss with the sellers on.
Yes, correct. Usually before we take out the project, usually we will discuss with the seller what is the price. We cannot expect too high because of these advantages. If you buy my idea, then of course we will try to get the best price, the best easiest buyer that suits your house. So we can conclude the deal easier.
And of course, most people like you already know that your house has this and here, there's some shortfall or some not too attractive places. That last time when you wanted to place a deposit, you also know those things, right? So I think generally your house, once you hit your target, your reasonable target, and your house will be just out of the market easily, right? So it's like
right.
We are not trying to hit the record high where you already know that your house will have more challenges. If you are sincere to sell a house on this matter, you should place your price right. Once your price is right, any house will sell, right?
Correct.
But of course, we hope that we are the one to sell for you.
Correct. So today's topic is those houses that is easy to sell. The next topic will be those houses that are very difficult to sell.
So you will roughly know what are the houses that we talk about are those houses difficult to sell. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Okay, we will see you in our next episode.